eclipse isn't just another new moon. This is a sacred ending, which also means it's a sacred new beginning. One that really prepares you to create in alignment with who you're becoming, not who you have been. So if you've been in a season of uncertainty, feeling the unraveling of what no longer fits, but unsure of what's next, you're in the energy of this moment. So this eclipse is happening at 14 degrees of Pisces in Vedic astrology on March 29th. It's a very deeply mystical new moon solar eclipse in Uttara Bhadrapada. And this nakshatra is known for its energy, its Shakti of bringing rain. It's cleansing, nourishing, and preparing the ground for, something new to be birthed, for new life. So Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac, and it's not about building yet. It's about dissolution. It's finishing a chapter. It's creating some endings, some natural endings, and that's the cyclical, rhythm of life and of nature. There's an ending, which is the fertile ground for a new beginning. We've been in this energy for a little while. We've got Mercury retrograde here, Venus retrograde, Sun, Moon, Rahu, the north node of the moon. We have Neptune is here, and Saturn's within hours of this eclipse going to move into Pisces. So there's so many different parts of us that are shifting, moving, and changing and reevaluating, and so many different areas of life all converging at one time. It isn't a time of intellectual clarity, but there are opportunities, there are intuitive downloads, and there is a sense of clarity that is coming through or may come through for you, and that, again, it's beyond the mind. It's in the realm of the inner knowing. Pisces is a very spiritual sign. It's more of the, beyond the veil, but that is where the deeper messages come from. So you can receive clarity in this time. It's just not that intellectual type of clarity. It's where, like I've been saying for the last month at least, it's a time of really tuning in and trusting our intuition. So, there are completions, dissolutions. It's like a karmic reset. There's karma that's dissolving, and spiritual clarity with releasing and a sense of trust in what we're called to release at this time, and also what we're called to open up, let in, or trust during this time. So the biggest thing about navigating this eclipse, and really I want to say any time, but especially what this eclipse and all these transits in Pisces are potentially teaching us, is this is a journey from the inside out. And that is what I take a stand for, whether we're creating our work in our world, our business, the way we're approaching our relationships. And to be a conscious leader is very much living from the inside out. So we're evolving, we're growing, we're becoming aware of ourselves and the soul calling, the soul purpose, and then actualizing it here. It is not a time of completely checking out. And these aspects can absolutely pull you in that direction. So watch out for escapism. Watch out for too much fantasy. It's fine to use that imagination and the sort of intuitive energy to, I call it conscious creation, to start to create energetically and through some inner vision your next best moves, your next best life, your next best work in the world. But we know when we're checking out, when we're numbing, we're stepping out, and we're doing something to be very checked out, and it doesn't involve checking in at all. It's fine to check out a little bit, but just be careful of overly checking out during this time. So if you've been feeling that, again, emotional and sort of untethered in some area of life, or you just feel like you're shedding this version of yourself, you are right on time. This eclipse is that cosmic invitation to surrender, to soften, and to really stop trying to force your clarity. Again, it needs to come inside out. It needs to find you, but you have to prepare the ground for it to find you. That's why I want you to check in and check out. Beautiful time for spiritual work. Beautiful time for opening up in meditation, journaling, any kind of water therapy. Pisces is a water sign, so that's getting in a body of water, that's floating or swimming, or just even the cleansing ritual of taking a bath or taking a shower, or maybe cleansing your gemstones. But this is a time where you want to open up and, again, surrender. Now, surrender gets a bit of a bad rap because people don't understand it takes a great amount of strength to be vulnerable enough to actually surrender. And surrender is not giving up. It's giving yourself up to the divine, up to source, giving something up to source, realizing the little you cannot hold it, handle it anymore, or you really feel, the spirit is pulling it away, and just being willing to let that happen. So surrender is incredibly powerful. I have a whole module on surrender in Sacred Wealth Mastery, where I help you to understand where that place of the divine is sourced for you to really tangibly have somewhere to surrender what is most useful to surrender. And look, there's a lot that if we're willing to open up to the hand of the divine to be in with us on things, so much more is possible for us. So what I want to invite you to start to notice is this eclipse is bringing a focus to you around what has been completed, even if you didn't expect it to, or what feels like it's completing a cycle. Now, when something's completing a cycle, it can feel like, oh God, this relationship is blowing up, or wow, nobody's purchasing that anymore in my business, so that must not be the thing I'm supposed to be doing, or that message doesn't fit anymore, or that business partnership or collaboration is just, there's too much discord there to keep moving on with it. Something is out of alignment, and if we allow it to, some things we just need to fix and bring back into alignment, but sometimes that's not possible. So we need to just allow it to complete its cycle. It doesn't mean that we won't continue with it. It just needs to take another form, or it may actually need to completely be completed and then we can start something new. So also, like, what are you still holding on to out of fear or insecurity or uncertainty? Those things also are really up for shift and transformation. So again, notice where you're hanging on. If you're hanging on tightly, it is usually out of fear or that unconscious habit of doing it. And sometimes we don't know the next step. And I want to say that's one of the most challenging places to be, the hallway in between what was and what's going to be. And I call that, being in the void, but that is a very potent place as well. So what you know deep down is maybe no longer aligned with your truth. This is something that we want to just allow, basically. Because if something's not a big yes and you allow it to be a no, instead of trying to make it a yes or living in the gray zone in between, then there's something new that's possible there. Again, a no means that something isn't for us, and that opens up space for something to come in. But oftentimes we stand in that space in confusion, uncertainty, and we don't make a new choice. Sometimes the choice is just to let go and let me see what's next. So this could also be showing up as your business offers or structures that no longer feel like they're aligned or they're nourishing you or your work. It can really show up as the emotional attachments that weigh you down. And you can tell if it's an emotional attachment. I mean, you feel it, like you feel it in your heart. And when we're really attached to something, and Venus is the planet of the most attachment, it's also a planet of love and beauty and relationship and intuition and empathy and all those things, but it's very, very attached. And so when we're in fear of losing something, we know we're attached. And some attachments need to be released. So also, this is the time to just be willing to relinquish and let go of those. And also be aware of the inner narratives that you've outgrown. You had a story that, okay, this is the way I have done business in the past, or this is the way, what I'm taking a stand for in what I'm leading, or this is what I think I want to start my work in the world and shift from what I'm doing. But it's a story that you've been entertaining for a while, and you just don't feel like you've got juice for it. It doesn't feel exciting for you anymore, or it doesn't feel like you've got the energy for it. Again, you may have already evolved past it, even if it was something that you thought you were going to create and you've been kind of hanging on to it, but you haven't created it yet. It's okay. It's okay if you never did and you outgrew it, or you have been for so long, and even if it's been paying you a lot, but you feel like sort of soul crushed because of it. This matters so much because this eclipse really opens a door, but only if your hands are empty. You're not trying to open or shut that door, and you're free enough and you've surrendered enough to walk through that door. It's time to let go, to listen in, to open up to what's next, to create and hold the vision for what's next, or to hold the space. Sometimes this is very, very subtle. Sometimes this is like a very subtle energy of like, it just doesn't feel, something feels a little off or not quite right. And it might be a part of what you are doing. Maybe you were writing a book. Maybe you were creating, some kind of a product or something, and just, it's not the whole thing, but some part of it just isn't right anymore. Let go. Give yourself the time to tune in. There's opportunities really that can come in around this time. The solar eclipse, and this is a partial, but it's still a powerful eclipse. It shifts our path and it plays out over the next 6 months. So it's like you're going down the road and then you've taken a Y off to the right or left. You didn't notice it's a different road. After a little while, you start to notice, oh my gosh, this is definitely different. So there's a subtle shift to it. Now, sometimes it's a hard left because, wow, something really comes to an end and you are faced with taking a different turn. But a lot of times it plays out very subtly. So be aware of that. These are the exact kinds of shifts that we work with in Sacred Wealth Mastery. And in Sacred Wealth Mastery, this is all about aligning with your soul blueprint, divine timing, your gifts, and creating that level of wealth and prosperity that's truly aligned with your soul. And we have to do the inner work and attend to that, as well as the practical, on the ground of, okay, what are the changes? What are we making in our work in the world, and how are we doing that from the inside out? We really honor the energy because we all have a divine timing based on our soul blueprint. If you're curious about Sacred Wealth Mastery, just send me an email at askprema@solutionary. The link is with the video, and I will send you an invite to the program so you know more about it. This particular eclipse feels pretty intense because it isn't just one transit in one moment. It's being amplified by this planetary pileup or planetary conversion. So that means there is a conversion in your life, in your world, in your inner being, and there's a convergence in the collective, and everybody's going through that in one way or another. Now, granted, depending on your chart, this could be hitting you really intensely. Like it's pretty major for me. It's my first and my 7th house, pretty major. And it might be something that's not as major for you, but it's not a background issue for everyone. Everyone, this is bringing something to the fore, whether you're aware of it or not. And my intention is to help you to be aware of what's arising within you so that you can work with it. That's what eclipses are about. They are points in the ecliptic that fall within two signs across from one another for a 1.5 year period of time and agitate those areas of life and the planets within them. And depending on the cycle you're running and how that all falls for you, is how intense that is or what a background issue it is. But it's there to help you to shake out what's the norm for you and encourage you to grow. And so that's why we get initiations and challenges, things that want to fall away, new opportunities that are coming in, but we're a little challenged on, okay, is that really for me or not for me? If it's aligned with your purpose, it's for you. If it feels like it's for you, it's for you. So it's a very, these are the areas that are being agitated. Your soul wants you to grow. You chose to grow at some level. We all did. And the more we are asleep, the bigger the wake-up calls tend to be because we're just not sensing them. The Venus retrograde in Pisces as well with this eclipse is really reassessing our relationships big time. You even might feel some self-worth stuff coming up with the Venus retrograde, and it's going to be retrograde till mid-April. It's bringing up old patterns for our heart for review. Like you might be feeling like, wow, I thought this relationship was something that it's not. Or you might be actually doing a deep healing within a relationship. And this can be business relationships, brother-sister relationships, friends, community relationships, and absolutely intimate relationships. Intimate relationships have been under a lot of pressure. And so if that is the case for you, and sometimes this kind of pressure does break the weak link if the link is weak enough, but it also can be a great time of healing. In order to heal in a relationship, we have to be willing to heal ourselves. So take a close look at yourself if you're dealing with any relationship challenges right now, and let the storm pass, and then look at it again and see if you can resolve what's been stirred up in the storm. In the storm may not be the best time to try to resolve it. And sometimes it gets resolved anyway because things just get stirred up and they get activated and need to be dealt with in a moment. The other thing that Venus can do right here in our relationships, and granted, if your relationship is really a challenge right now, that's going to make the work you're doing in the world a challenge because you only have so much bandwidth. We've got to attend to these relationships. Again, this is going to play out over a while. So this isn't a one-time video. This isn't a one-time piece of information. This is something, again, that is shifting our path for the next few months to come, but then those next few months, again, shift our future. So in relationships, you might want to ask things like, to yourself, of course, are your relationships built on truth or obligation? Agreements we make can be out of obligation, and that doesn't really serve in a relationship. If they're built on truth, they can be built more on commitment, which is fine. So really sit with that. And this includes, also your relationship with money, with your visibility and being seen, and your creativity. And so you might be feeling like you're going through something with it. That's shifting, that's changing, what you even want to be seen for. There's a reinvention of self at a big level that's been going on. And this is kind of a climax in it. So you may feel like you want to pull back, not because you're failing, but because your soul is recalibrating. So again, if something's falling away or you've been trying at something and it's just not launching, it's just not going, hey, I've had that too. It's not that you've failed necessarily. It's just there's a recalibration and you need to catch up with that soul recalibration. Again, if it's no longer nourishing your evolution, it's not a loss. It's a transformation. The soul looks at what's shifting, what we're letting go of as transformation. The ego looks at it as loss. So just be careful there. And the Mercury retrograde with this eclipse is in Pisces as well, and Mercury is retrograde and debilitated, but there's also some aspects that are lifting it up a bit. It's a very out of the box time to think. Again, watch out for the urges to figure it out. You're going to grind the gears of your mind too hard and you won't be able to figure it out. That's not where the clarity is going to come from. It's going to come from the messages that drop in. It's going to come from you relaxing, for you opening up. It's a time to trust your intuition over your intellect. And I would say also pay attention to your dreams as well as your emotions and even the symbolic nudges you might see that are going on. These aspects are asking us to listen, tune in without reacting. And you know what? We're all going to react. It is what it is. Forgive yourself, forgive the others, and let's keep connecting. And can you hold on to your truth without demanding immediate answers? So can you hold on to what your vision is for yourself or what's really true for you? And if the answer's not coming, just keep the door open. So your friend is coming to visit. You know they're coming. They're late. It's late. It's so late, maybe you want to go to bed. Do you want to leave the front door open for them? So when they get in, they can come and they can join you. Allow that door to stay open. Now, things are going to get a little serious after this. And I'll be talking about this in my April update. But Saturn enters Pisces on March 29. This is a 2.5-year shift towards a more, I want to say, spiritual maturity and being very disciplined in this part of your chart. And Saturn wants to come in and put structure and organization. And there's a lot of chaos in Pisces right now. So the storm is going to blow through. The retrogrades are going to blow through. And Saturn's coming in and wants to, and can be feel like heavy and serious sometimes, but Saturn, it wants things to be squeaky clean and really true. So it's going to align us with structure, organization, truth, and Saturn likes to minimalize things and sort of concretize things. So depending on where this is hitting you, it's going to do that in that part of your life, but it is going to, for all of us, Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It's spirituality, it's creativity, and really like this soul anchored service. So again, as opposed to building from like fantasy and force. So these are the things that Saturn is going to be coming in, and the way Saturn's going to bring its energy to this area that's been incredibly chaotic with Rahu, the north node of the moon here, which is going to move out on the 29th of May. And so we'll be talking a lot about Saturn, okay? But if after the eclipse you start to feel this weight come in, instead of interpreting it as heavy, what I want to invite you to do is take it as a deepening of, okay, what's shifted, what's blown through, and now where am I being called to deepen and get more internally organized so that I can bring some outer organization to what's really important, okay? And we'll be working more with the Saturn energy. So you don't need to rush. You just need to be aware of what's true and align and put your attention where it belongs. There are many different realities happening at one time, and you can pay attention to all the realities that are not working for you. And there's plenty of them right now, no matter who you are. It's a very mixed bag in the collective right now. But the more you put your attention on where you're going, what's the part you're going to play as a conscious leader, then the more you are shifting the collective, the more you are contributing instead of just being in the storm or any of the fear that contributes to more fear. So I've got a couple of journaling prompts here for you. And what I want to invite you to be aware of is, what are you being asked to release during this time? What are you being asked to let go of, to release? You may even want to do a stream of consciousness on that, because it may be more than one thing, and you can pause the video to do that. And our next question would be, where have I outgrown that I've been afraid to admit? Like, what in your business, in your life, in your relationships have you outgrown that maybe you've been afraid to admit to? It's okay. Once we get truthful with ourselves, then we can take the next step. We need to know where we are first in order to take the next step. And what if clarity could come after the surrender? It doesn't usually come before. So what if it could come after the surrender? What would you be willing to surrender? What would you be willing to surrender? It's a time of surrender. Again, some of the supportive remedies for this time: meditation, quiet time. Stay away from big crowds on the eclipse, a couple days around it if you can. If you're traveling, just give yourself more time. No matter what, pad your schedule with more time, because then you can deal with what emerges in the moment. Absolutely, journaling. I have a daily alignment practice in my program that is so useful, where we get very clear on the intention for the day. So just even setting the intention for the day, for the hour, for the project, for the conversation, so that you've got a very sacred guiding force for it, can be really helpful. Keep that schedule light, absolutely. Pause before speaking, breathe, and notice if you are reacting. Give yourself some grace with that and other people, but maybe you need to take some more time to align. So chanting, of course, and any spiritual practice is super helpful. Avoid forcing conversations or forcing decisions. Open up to the decision or open up to the opportunity, because there's opportunities coming through. We're still in the retrograde energy. So again, we want to trust the intuition and not force the intellect, okay? And if there's a delay, trust that delay as being just the sacred pause that you just need to sit in. If you sit in that sacred pause, then things, that are sorting out are going to be apparent to you as they do. So this eclipse is a sacred threshold, a space between stories. Some are ending, some are starting. You don't need to know what's next in order to honor the ending, but the ego wants to. So you've got to just calm that part of you down, okay? And just let yourself be changed gently, wisely, and very intentionally, okay? And if you are ready to co-create your next chapter, and not just from strategy, but from deep soul alignment, aligned with your soul blueprint, aligned with your gifts, creating your next level of wealth from the inside out in a way that is just completely aligned, then that's exactly what we do in Sacred Wealth Mastery. We combine divine timing and intuitive leadership and energetic clarity to help you build, your business, your work in the world, your life that truly reflects who you are here to be. So if you're feeling called for that, you can email me again at askprema@solutionary, SOULTIONARY.com, and I'll make sure that is in the wherever you're finding this video. And please remember to subscribe and to turn your notifications on and to share this. It really helps get the word out. I am grateful for you. Thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to being again with you soon.